That sucked. 27-24, the Hawks lose a nail-biter to the Minnesota Vikings in a game where they had plenty of opportunities. In case you missed it, to kind of give you the short recap of sorts, Seattle started slow, started to get momentum in the second half. At one point, took the lead in the second half. Then the Vikings responded with a touchdown to Justin Jefferson, who was just unbelievable today. Then Seattle has a chance. They go down the field. Jason Myers attempts a 60-yard field goal. It was no good. They get a 3-and-out in the Vikings. They use their timeouts. Seahawks get one more chance, and Geno Smith throws an interception to end the game, and the Seahawks lose their second straight. And you've made things a lot harder on yourselves now. Got to beat Chicago, got to beat L.A. to make the postseason, and now you are a full game back of the L.A. Rams in the division at this point. This game is one that is going to have a lot of what-ifs. What if this went differently? In a number of different ways. You start looking at Geno, 31 of 43 through the air. Why did he throw it 43 times? Why did Seattle get away from the run game? 314 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks for Geno. Kenneth Walker, 8 carries, 31 yards. Zach Charbonnet, I talked about him in the pregame that with K-Don coming back, I didn't want them to forget they had Zach Charbonnet. Apparently that was the case. Ryan Grubb did forget he had Zach Charbonnet. He was only given 1 rushing attempt today for -1 yards. One silver lining, JSN did go over 1,000 yards receiving. He had a nice game. He continues to stay hot. Kings stay kings. 8 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown score. DK was solid. 3 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. But then the defense, just gave up a lot of big plays. They had no answer for Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold was rock solid today. 22 of 35, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns. The run game, they held Minnesota to 81 total rushing yards. But it didn't matter because of the way Minnesota was so effective in moving the football through the air with the big day from Jefferson with 144 and 2 touchdowns. Addison was solid, 5 catches, 35 yards, and a touchdown. What's crazy is, as much as we talk about how good Minnesota's offense and their passing game looked, Seattle actually had more yards than Minnesota did, 361. But here's the tale of the tape, all right? We talk about the what-ifs, right? What if you didn't go 2 of 10 on 3rd down? What if you didn't get called for 11 damn penalties for 77 yards? Those were the things that made the difference in this football game. Couldn't convert on a 3rd down to save your life, and you got called for way too many penalties. And before people go blaming the refs, that's the lazy thing to do. Almost every penalty was a good call. Almost every penalty was a self-inflicted wound, a stupid mistake on the part of Seattle here. I know it's a 3-point game. It's going to be easy to point to officiating and all that, but the Hawks have no one to blame but themselves. They had a chance to win this game. They had multiple chances to get the job done, and when push came to shove, they did not make it happen. What is your one-word reaction to the Hawks' performance against Minnesota today? My one word is disappointing. This was disappointing. You had chances. You needed this one. And I get it. Minnesota's a very good football team. They are one of the best teams in the NFC. Kevin O'Connell's done an incredible job. He's likely going to be Coach of the Year and all of that. But even with that said, you had plenty of chances, and you did not get this job done. And a lot of mistakes that we can point to of how this game slipped away. Folks, our watch party was a heck of a time. It didn't go our way. We still had a great time at our watch party. We're going to continue to bring you daily news and rumors. Look, I'll be honest with the folks here. This week, for yours truly, I don't get to see my family on Christmas. I'm here with y'all, right? I'll see them later in the week. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. But hey, that just shows you the dedication, the passion we have here for talking your Hawks. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday. It doesn't matter if I'm away, whatever it may be. We're going to continue to cover this team like no one else is. We surpassed 61,000 subscribers last week, and we continue to keep on growing here. For daily Seahawks coverage, our news and rumors, our live shows, our watch parties, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, subscribe. Lock us in. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. All right. Let's go over some numbers here for you, folks. Let's start with Geno. Geno goes 31 of 43, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Geno made some obvious mistakes. I mean, no question about it. But I feel like now we go back to a discussion that we had at the beginning of the season with play calling. It seemed like Ryan Grubb had turned a corner after that San Francisco game where they started to run the football more and made Geno do less, and the offense was, therefore, more effective throughout much of the season. Today, this reminded me of the games he called in Week 5 and Week 6 and early in the season. There's just no reason to be throwing it 43 times with Geno Smith as your quarterback. Just no reason. And the running backs that you have there, 15 rushing attempts is just pathetic. K-9 had some decent runs. He looked like he was healthy. He looked like he was just fine. Why was Kenny McIntosh getting more carries than Zach Charbonnet today? Huh? I mean, I just, it blows my mind. This is a frustrating win. This is one where I think I'm going to need a bottle of Maker's Mark to get through the night. I am. Like, I'm going to need to drown my sorrows away because this is one that just got away and just no one to blame but the Seahawks themselves. I mean, I'm happy for JSN. It's one of those things where you're sitting here and you're like, well, we lost, but, I mean, the guy's a stud. I mean, second year in the league, over 1,000 yards. He's your number one receiver. He's Geno's go-to guy. I mean, even in a loss, we can still take a moment here to recognize what this guy is doing. I think it's 8 straight games now with at least 69 yards receiving. You talk about nice, very nice from JSN. That's probably my one silver lining from today. I'm happy for JSN. Everything else, blah. Who was Seattle's MVP against the Vikings? I mean, I'm going JSN. Who's your answer? Weigh in the chat. Let us know who that MVP is. Before we go any further in today's show, let me tell you about our sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. And it's the perfect gift. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. You see a super deal, you can't pass up on that. They have their seat views. You can get the visuals, see what your seat is like, and you can customize your spot as well. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, we got to talk about the defense. Secondary was just absolutely atrocious today. Rick Wallen was not good. You look at these other guys, just it was a debacle. It was a disaster. No turnovers forced. A team like Minnesota is too good to not be getting that extra possession or two for your offense. The defense played better in the third quarter, but then they gave up plays when it mattered in the fourth quarter. They made Sam Darnold look like Tom Brady out there. I mean, come on. Come on. I know that Sam's a great story, and I'm happy for him that he's had this turnaround. He's going to win NFL Comeback Player of the Year and all that. But, I mean, to make him look like Tom Brady out there, like how? How does this happen? The secondary was atrocious. I think today, folks, if there's one thing to look towards the offseason, and one thing I promised you, I said I was not going to talk a whole lot of draft stuff until Seattle is actually eliminated from all this. I will give you this note. When we get to the draft in April, there will be a high pick spent on a corner in day one or day two. Because Reek is not the same player he was as a rookie. Josh Jobe, I like the guy. For being a former UDFA and a practice squad player, he's not bad, but a guy of his talent's been asked to do way too much. You know, Witherspoon can only do so much at the nickelback spot. You need more help. The guys there just aren't good enough to get the job done. And then the rest of this defense. You had 3 sacks today. Jaron Reed had a sack. Boye, Derek Hall, those guys got involved. But you only had 3 tackles for loss. Guys didn't get behind the line enough. They did not get enough of those negative plays. I mean, Minnesota was just moving. They were just cooking time and time again. You got it. You got to do one of 2 things if you're a defense. You got to either create turnovers or you got to create negative plays. They weren't doing either tonight. They were not doing either tonight. There's a lot of work to do. Down but not out. Still a lot of time. These next 2 weeks. But let's see what they go from here. Penalties. Couldn't create turnovers. Couldn't create negative plays. Turned the ball over too much offensively. Couldn't rush the football. The sad part about this is my final note. I'll end on this, folks. Is that this loss today, I've seen this before. Seen it way too many times this year. We're talking about the same stuff we were talking about in weeks 5 and 6. Can't run the football. Can't protect the quarterback. Can't create turnovers. Can't get enough pressures. Can't get enough negative plays on defense. The same stuff over and over again. A wise man once said, if you do the same thing over and over again, that's the definition of insanity. This team's driving me crazy. I'm feeling insane based on some of the stuff I'm seeing from this team with not fixing those things that should have been taken care of a long time ago. Grade the performance. Not an A. Not a B. I mean, say this, Minnesota's very good. So you came close. I'll go C-, and I think that's being generous. Because you didn't get blown out. It wasn't like last week. At least you responded to what we saw against Green Bay. Let us know in the comments section. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seahawks Today. Give somebody or a loved one in your life a free subscription of Seahawks Today. It's a great holiday gift, if I'd say so myself. Subscribe now. Stay locked in. And we'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.